We're here at the StartUp Health Festival, and my next guest is Greg Sommer, CSO and co-founder at Sandstone Diagnostics. Greg, come on into the StartUp Health studio. Oh, you've brought...
Sure did.
You've brought the...
Show and tell.
Show and tell. The centrifuge.
That's right.
That's right, the at-home centrifuge. We've written about this in the StartUp Health magazine, so I've seen a picture of it.
Thank you. You have, yeah. Really appreciate it.
So, Greg, Sandstone Diagnostics, take me there. What's it all about?
Sandstone is really enabling lab testing for anyone, anywhere, and anytime.
Okay.
And we're doing that with our centrifuge. It's the world's most portable centrifuge.
Okay.
So if you think about a centrifuge in a laboratory,
I imagine a giant, old centrifuge.
Yeah, exactly. It's the workhorse of laboratory medicine, of clinical testing, yet it's a technology that really hasn't evolved in over 100 years, right? Oh. So if you look back at pictures from the late 1800s, scientists were centrifuging samples, and they were doing with a hand crank. So sometime in the early 20th century, they added electricity to this device. But other than that, it's about the same. You take a blood tube, you put it into the centrifuge, you spin it down. What this is doing is bringing the centrifuge out of the lab. It's going out to the patients. It's going out to the healthcare professionals.
In
to
the
be
home,
able to,
or at the primary care providers?
In the home, in the office, out in the field, military medicine, wherever labs need to be done, we can bring our technology there to provide the purest and most stable plasma sample possible to ensure that the labs that are being done are done accurately and as sensitively as they can.
Okay, break it down, explain why, to the audience, why having a good plasma sample, why proximity is important.
Yeah, so blood samples start degrading immediately. So if you go in to have your blood drawn, it goes into a tube. Immediately, once it's drawn into a tube, it starts breaking down. So the cells start dying, they're lysing, they're adding their components into the sample. You're not actually, for most tests, most lab tests, you're not actually testing the whole blood. You're testing the liquid part of the blood, which is called plasma or serum. And so when that tube goes into the lab, the first thing they do is put in their centrifuge, spin it down, pull off the liquid part, and run the tests on that. Which usually isn't a problem if you're in a hospital setting or a clinic where the lab is nearby. That tube goes in, they spin it down, and the tests are done just fine. But it is a problem when you're decentralized, if you're out in the middle of a rural community, or you're someplace that you don't have access to a lab right around the corner. That's degradation time, especially if you're dealing with temperatures and shipping samples. It can really cause a problem with the sample purity, and that's going to lead to inaccuracy. So what we do with our instrument is we separate it immediately. We call it zero delay. There's going to be no delay in this sample being prepped. Gives you the purest, most stable plasma possible to make sure that those labs are done well.
Give me an example of some of the use cases.
Sure. We have customers right now. One of our biggest milestones this past year in 2019 was bringing on board our first customers for this product, which are CROs, clinical research organizations. These are the folks managing clinical trials. So when new drugs or new devices get brought to market, they undergo extensive clinical testing. The big push right now in the industry is to decentralize and do remote monitoring. So bringing the phlebotomist to people who might be homebound or in a nursing home and patient's home to draw the samples so that those people don't have to try to get into a healthcare facility. They're having problems right now with being able to get the samples processed soon enough. So phlebotomists are actually going around with these portable centrifuges. You should see one of these things. It plugs into a cigarette lighter in your car. They strap it into a booster seat, basically in the front seat of their car, and plug it in, and they're spinning samples down. They don't work very well. They don't. But they're doing it because it's so important to get the samples processed. So we're selling these things to them now where they put this in their backpack, they go into the patient's home, spin it down immediately, they get out of there in a few minutes versus needing to do all this laboratory prep out in the field. So they're loving it. That's going well. We just clicked off our clinical trials. The whole system's going to be FDA cleared this year, and we're going to revolutionize the blood testing industry.
Am I going to see it at my local primary care office? Am I going to experience this in the future?
I hope you will. Our vision is we think this should be done whenever blood samples are tested.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, excited to hear what you're working on. Excited to see this come to life, and really feel like you guys are doing something really
You're upside down, but that's okay.
Oh, interesting and special. It goes like this?
That's right,
All right. So, sorry. We'll figure this out. There we go. There you go. Awesome. This is really novel and really important, and love what you're doing, okay? Thank you for joining me in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
And hope you have an awesome week.
Likewise. Thank you.
All right. Take care.